Mr. Dida, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we start the meeting, I would ask that we observe a moment of silence for our neighbors in Oxford, Michigan. Thank you, everybody. Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Here.
Terenzi? Here. O'Donnell?
Here.
Deanne?
Here.
Ryan?
Here.
Townsend?
Here.
Mayor Calendino?
Here. We're all here, and we have a quorum. At this time in the meeting, the floor is open to anyone from the public that has comments for items that are listed on the agenda. Does anybody have comments for items on the agenda? Nope. No unfinished business. There are 4 items in consent business, which we will handle in one vote. They're all included in the packet. City Council has had the opportunity to review these. I would be looking for a motion to approve all items in consent business.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Terenzi, support by Ryan. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. We have no correspondence. New business. We have Mr. Dida here. He's requesting a property split of his property at 7330 Chrisman. Sir, could you go up to the podium?
Good evening.
Maybe just explain, a little background. Mr. Dida's come to the office and he has a property at Chrisman and Utica Road. He has a fairly large side yard, backyard, whatever you call
It's
it.
a large empty lot, actually, I can say.
And he's just trying to figure out if it's going to be possible to split that parcel and
Yeah,
build another.
Because the way I measure up, so I just, in front I have nobody, behind I got nobody, except my house existing right now. Got 2 windows, which you can build a garage this side, so it's still the privacy on it. It's gonna be 45 by 45, which is pretty much is 2,000, over 1,900 square feet building lot, except around 16 from my house and 8 already from my neighbor, from the fence. As you saw that stuff, it's pretty big. I mean,
See if I can bring it up for you.
in the pictures looks little, but yeah, you see that? So it's like it's a pretty big lot.
So if I'm reading this right, this is your
Yes.
existing garage, existing home,
Yeah, so the other side I'm talking about.
and this is the parcel.
Yep.
Okay.
So you got 8 foot, plus 8, which will make you 16 to start building. And plus 8 from the fence, which got 45 feet straight like that, and I accept the line wherever is my property to the neighbor property, which is gonna make straight on.
Right.
Because in front I got garage from my neighbor garage. I know, I don't have houses, even behind is a garage.
Right. And to be clear, you know, you just wanted to come so that you could get all this information out to us.
Yeah.
Kind of review what the requirements were.
Yes. I will bring a surveyor if I have to. So
Right,
I
and that
got-
would have to go through planning at that.
Yes, planning and everything, so, I got, you know, I used to work for MDOT for the state, the inspector, so I know very much, I got degree in civil engineering back
Right.
in Europe, so architectural, I know people, which, you know, deal every day, like, with business, too. And, I'm like, why not? So pretty much, get over 1,900 square feet, square just for separation, which is gonna be built. They told me you can, so, I mean, it's up to you guys.
So, Mr. Ray, I have a question.
Is the proposed building within the setbacks, within the ordinance?
That's part of, I believe that, I'm gonna hand it over to Amanda to kind of review what the setback requirements are and,
Yeah, so, good evening, council. Right now, he has a corner lot, which means that the setbacks, your front yard and side yard become the same, and your rear yard is technically, his rear yard is technically where he's looking to split the parcel. A rear yard setback, is required to be 40 feet in any R1B home. So the major issue that I see if he splits the parcel is that, first of all, based on my rough calculations, the minimum lot size is 5,000 square feet. If he was to split it, it would be 4,550 square feet. So he would need a variance for a lower minimum lot size than what's required, which isn't a huge issue. The biggest issue is that if you look at what I kind of roughly drew up here, his house would front Chrisman, which would mean his front yard would be on Chrisman, and his rear yard would be the neighbor to the south off of Utica. He'd have to have a 40-foot rear yard setback, a 25-foot front yard setback, and 8 feet side yard setbacks on either side, which any structure that could be built would basically be represented in the green box there, which is about 220 square feet. So if you were to grant the lot split, the lot would be non-conforming in size, and then it would basically create an unbuildable lot. You'd have to give variances for any structure that would be built on the site. So that's kind of the major problems. I mean, and I know it seems confusing because the way his lot is configured, he basically has two front yards technically off of Utica and off of Chrisman, which both meet the setbacks. His side yard is technically the one that's coming off of the house on Utica to the south, and then his rear yard, that would also create a non-conforming structure for his current house because he would lose his rear yard entirely. He would have no rear yard either, if you understand what I'm saying, because his rear yard of the 40 feet is what he's looking to split off. So it'd create a non-conforming lot, a non-conforming structure, and then I don't see how he could build a home that would be compliant with your current zoning regulations.
Yeah, but I never used that. I got in front of my house with the garage, with the door. I mean, I got everything.
I understand.
So I don't have behind my house still. I got 9 foot from the fence.
It's just what's written in the zoning
So,
ordinance.
see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm talking about, got nothing to do with the backyard. I'm losing nothing. I got my going around the old house and going around in front between my garage and my house. I got perfect backyard. And honestly with you, I just put the fence because I have a dog back then. So the cops were showing up every day in my house. That's why I put the fence. The dog was going through the neighbor years ago. I'm talking about 14 years ago. So that one from the road backyard, I said, I'm not losing nothing in here. So it's just pretty much everybody live in front, except my property, is just a corner lot. So if you look the other houses around the road, everyone has got 12 foot each one. I'm not saying it's old construction. I'm talking about this house been built 1943. Used to be a gas station. And in my garage where I built it back here. Was an empty guy, it was a 5x10, the gas station. I went to remove all the tanks out when the mayor was here. He did then find out after, so I spent probably around $7,000 just to take the gas tanks out. Because the guy was not even moving. And then the bank said, oh, if you want to have that lot, you have to move everything. So Freddie he was inspector here. And we move everything out, so I put the bill now, his garage is more bigger than my house. So between that garage and that house is where we stay. It's perfect place, so it's a really privacy there. So leaving that empty lot like that, I'm saying like between two squares, just follow the line like that, it'd be 45 feet by 43, which is 1,900 square feet slab. You can just really build something there.
and Amanda, if I'm understanding correctly, if this was granted, it would also cause problems for his existing lot, right?
It would create a non-conforming structure, so, I mean, he could never alter that building, his current home or anything like that. But yeah, if you were to approve the lot split, first it would have to go to planning commission, then he'd have to get a variance for the size, then which would need a public hearing, and then he could go before city council for the final plat. He'd need a professional survey done, and then if he was ever to
I got the
build
company coming through
a
if you
structure,
want to, so
he
it
would
doesn't
need
matter.
variances most likely for probably front and rear front and rear setbacks. So, just to let you know what would be coming. Which
Well,
I
the
probably
side, it
could-
looks like he's fine, right? He's got
It would
8
all
foot.
just depend on what kind of building or what kind of home he was constructing. This is
Right.
all just my guess based
Sure.
on what would be coming.
But he would need 8 foot on either side.
Either side, yeah.
So really
Really, the rear would be the biggest issue. I think he would have no rear yard based on how any home that would be, if it was 1,000 square feet or whatever.
Because the corner lot, nobody has a rear yard.
But it's not a corner lot once you split it.
It's true, but, yeah, it's true what you're saying.
May I ask a question?
That's the problem.
I'm just like,
What we're seeing on the bottom side of the red line that's on the bottom, yep, down by the 119, yeah, that's his rear lot line, correct?
yeah,
That's the back of the house?
yeah.
yeah, this is,
So Amanda, my
That's
question.
not the rear. The rear
It's
is,
to
Would be
the
the
red
proposed
line.
new lot, but the house fronts to the 173.
his front door is right
It's
here.
not, it's not the house back
So
here.
the orientation of the house isn't actually the frontage then,
yeah,
right?
so it's a little
'Cause
funky.
the
I
frontage
think
should be
it's
on
a
Sun-
little,
the frontage
This
should
is
be
a
on Utica.
garage, this is not a house.
I don't
This
really
is
think
your house
it's
here, where I'm-
compliant
No, no, no,
with the
no.
code
Right here is your
ordinance,
house,
the way
where-
it's built
Just so I'm
already.
saying, if we're calling,
119 lot.
sir, I'm sorry, you're
This is a
interrupting.
garage.
You're interrupting, I need to finish my question, so I
Okay,
can
sorry,
understand.
sorry.
If I wanna help you, I need to understand.
Sorry about that.
So the actual frontage of this home should be where the 70 is, if we're supposing that the rear proposed lot is his backyard.
Yes.
Okay, however, the house fronts to Chrisman, but the technical frontage is on Utica, correct?
No, his
Oh, oh,
address
oh.
is Chrisman,
But
yes,
if we're calling the
so,
frontage, if we're calling the backyard the proposed new lot, then how can it both be the backyard and side yard if he fronts to Chrisman, but yet we're using the depth of the backyard as
so.
frontage on
A
Utica?
corner lot has 2 front yards, 1 side yard, and 1 rear yard.
Say it one more
A
time.
corner lot has 2 front yards, 1 side yard, and 1 rear yard.
Okay.
So he has 2 front yards technically,
Utica
Utica
and
and
Chrisman.
Chrisman.
Okay,
And then the
understood.
side yard is the lot, or the parcel that's abutting 119, that's his side yard. And then in my opinion, his rear yard is that.
Okay.
I would
Understood.
definitely not call his rear yard where the 70 is. I don't know when the structure was built or how it was,
Okay, I appreciate the clarification.
Corner lots are confusing and a little odd, for sure, but technically corner lots have 2 front yards, a side yard, and a rear yard.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, you said you had a question?
Question, comment, you're asking us to create your existing property of split and turn it into a non-conforming structure. The other parcel would have to be a non-conforming structure with all kinds of variances. By the calculations that exist with the split, that's roughly a 230 square foot house. So you're not gonna build anything less than 1,200 square feet if you even wanna try to make a buck on the parcel. So you're asking for a 5 to 6 times square footage variance. We're not asking 50 feet, we're not asking 100 feet. You're asking something that would be totally out of context. So, given all the variances, 2 non-conforming uses, I can't even see where this is feasible. It may be that you use the piece of property you say, and that's where you entertain, and you do it, but it's not the neighborhood. You don't control the neighborhood. And by splitting it, as Amanda said, you now have 1 corner lot and a non-corner lot. And we can't spot zone that non-corner lot to give you what you want when nobody else can have it. So, I'm sorry, you're creating your own hardship, by doing this, and that doesn't mean that council has to allow or approve that hardship. So, that's my comment. If it came to me today, the answer is no across the board on every variance, non-conforming use, there's no way you can make that work.
Does anyone else from council have any comments?
This is a whole lot of government red tape, rules that we've created for who knows what reason, 50 years ago. I think, either, our two choices are either higher taxes or more neighbors. I prefer more neighbors. This is what that would look like. All that being said, I too would vote no on absolutely all of this. This is, the law is the law, right? And this, if we want, as a body, if we want to change what these look like, talk to neighbors, figure out what it
It's like
should
an
be.
empty lot there,
Excuse
just
me.
sit there doing
Excuse me.
nothing, you just
Excuse
treat it
me.
like a farm.
If we want to talk to the neighbors in the neighborhood, figure that out, figure what this should look like.
I can
Okay.
get little, I can get a
That
little
being
bit.
said, as of right now, there's no, to
I
me,
can get
there's no
petition, no
way.
problem.
May I ask a question?
That's it, I'm sorry.
I understand that your goal is to build another property, another dwelling on that parcel for your family. Is it at all feasible to add on to the existing parcel and make it a two-family? Is that even something that would be considered? So that way you could have an adjoined parcel and then your setbacks would be met, as far as your rear and your frontage?
Like a
Good question.
duplex,
A
maybe?
duplex?
Amanda, what about an
That suffice?
ADU? Do
If
those
I,
have the same?
look, if I just put like a tunnel, wherever, you see what I'm saying?
Well, could you build a duplex out of your current home?
I can do whatever I want.
I mean, within the limits of law,
Okay,
as been explained.
I mean, how come the law doesn't allow this? Just, it's only allowed there if I just connect it a little bit with my old house. I can go all the way through, get the permit from you guys, you cannot stop it.
Would that be possible, Amanda?
Well,
As
yeah, I
long as he
can.
met the 40 feet, he can build up until 40 feet.
That might be that might be a solution for you, is to create a duplex on that parcel attached to the current house.
He'd
And
have
have one
to-
continuous house with two addresses.
He'd have to rezone it,
Okay.
That's spot zoning again.
yeah.
Well, he can
Amanda-
request the variance, though.
I can just
about-
I just go, but yeah, I can build duplex and just separate it after all. Or I can do whatever I want.
No, you can't do whatever you want. You keep on saying that.
No, I'm
And it's
not- I'm
already
not
not, and
saying-
it's
I'm
not
just-
zoned for the
But
multiple.
sorry for my, for
Okay,
my
well-
expression, but still.
No.
That, when I built that house, was a creepy 600 feet, 650 square feet. All right,
Okay.
so I ripped them off, I just built a perfect corner. So let Crispin Rhodes would be proud of it. Wherever I built. I spent almost $50,000 from that property. And I built it perfect, it was like 650 square feet, nothing else. You can't even live on it. And I just bought that property back on 2007, and I built it, and I lived there, and I love that property, that's all I'm trying to tell you. So if I wanna build one other one back here, I can just build duplex, go all the way to my neighbor. If I need my neighbor's signature, I can get anything I want from that, from the city.
It's not just your neighbor, it's not just the duplex, because even that would require a variance. So this is not just do what I want to do today.
Well, I'm saying, I
Okay,
never
it's-
did anything, I mean, I did anything.
When you
Without
bought the property, these laws were in effect. The zoning was in effect, the setbacks were in effect. Now, because you want to do something, you want
I
us to
wanna
all
do
look,
something beautiful.
you
That's what
want
I'm
us to
saying.
look the other way. It's what you want, though. It's not what the city at this point allows, okay? So until that can fall within those confines, it sounds like most of us here can't agree to any of it, okay? And until you do your homework of what is allowed and not allowed, it's not gonna go anyplace.
You know, my language is a little bit, my
That,
English.
that's, your language isn't so bad. Remember, you have a degree and you worked for the state and all that, so
Yeah, but
don't,
doesn't, I mean,
don't
doesn't
rely
mean,
on the
sir,
language
doesn't
is so
mean nothing.
bad.
How much, you have, how much people are made from how smart they are, not how much school you have. It's a country of opportunity, you know?
I understand, but a minute ago you played the card of
Was the people
you
come-
were
I
educated, you
can
had the
play
job,
politics
and you
too
know
if
what you can do.
But-
So,
Well,
we're beating a dead horse right
it's
now.
just, I mean, just saying no is so easy to somebody, you know? But just think about it, guys, I don't know what to do, you know? I'm not trying to tell you what to do, you know?
This was
If
really
it
just
doesn't work, so at least I tried.
right, this was an opportunity for you
Yes, to
to present your
express, yes.
ideas, to get kind of a feel of where council would be on it. I think you get that impression now, right?
I got
I
you.
think the next step, if you want to pursue this, definitely go to planning, right? But as Amanda indicated, you know, to move it any further at this point, I think you're gonna need a professional survey done.
I will bring everything, so yeah, it costs a little bit money, but that's all right, that's okay.
All right.
Since I love this city, I love my neighbors,
I miss the chickens, though, I
yeah,
tell you.
my rooster. Oh, funny part is, when I give it to my friend, because I was tired to wake up every day 5 o'clock, my neighbors were so mad, because they could not hear it anymore. Guys, sorry to take your time, but thank
No,
you
no,
very much for your time.
that's what we're here
okay?
for. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming.
Sir, thank you very much.
Have a great day, Merry
You
Christmas.
too. Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Department reports, I'll go first. We had our tree lighting ceremony this past weekend. It was a huge success. I owe big thanks to the DPW. They dealt with some crazy weather. They also were dealing at the same time with a pretty major water main break right next to the library. Somehow they pulled it off. I'm amazed that they were able to do it. I was pretty nervous. I went out there in the afternoon and I thought we were gonna have to change the name from the tree lighting celebration to the tree dancing celebration, because that tree was getting its groove on over there, I'm telling you. So, I don't know how you mounted that thing, but you did a good job, because it was moving all over the place. I'd also like to thank our police and fire. Councilman Ryan's gonna talk a little bit in his discussion about some of the good things fire department did, and our city staff. Everybody just really contributed to pull off a really fun event. We had Roop Raj from Fox 2 News and Darren McCarty from the Detroit Red Wings. Great crowd, Santa Claus, Eisenhower art students and their teacher, Jennifer Ramirez, was there, helping with the Santa pictures. And Mr. Brett Bay and the Utica High School Marching Band were there, giving us all entertainment, playing Christmas songs. So in all, it was a pretty great event. I just want to thank everybody. And one last thing, we're currently on Facebook conducting our Utica Christmas decoration contest. The winner will be announced on December 18th, Saturday. Northern Grind very generously donated a gift card and a T-shirt for their company, so we'll be awarding that. I do have to say, we have a certain person here on the panel that is far in the lead. So if anybody out there would like to give them a run for the money, you need to get on there and vote. But it looks like you may be the guy drinking a lot of coffee here in the near future.
It's all right, quite all right.
One other item I do have is the appointment of Mr. Chuck Cuttington to Municipal Building Authority. As all of us know, Mr. Cuttington is a longtime public servant in the city of Utica. He was on the city DPW for a number of years, also served on city council. I would be looking for a motion to appoint Mr. Cuttington to our MBA.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Dion, support by Terenzi. Any discussion from council?
It's a great move, great move. So,
Before we take our vote, I will read his certificate. Mr. Charles Albert Cunnington, you are hereby notified that you have been duly appointed by the council for the city of Utica at a regular meeting on Tuesday, December 14th, 2021, to serve as a member of the Municipal Building Authority for the city of Utica. Your term would expire in 2027. Wow, that seems like a long time out.
Wow. More like a sentence.
You're very notified.
So if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Cunnington, congratulations. It'll be good to see you around the city building again.
I'll see you tomorrow.
And that is all I have. Councilman Ryan, I know you have something to tell us.
Alrighty. So, yes, we did the Toys for Tots collection. We had a box over here at City Hall, a box at the library. Pre-event, we probably collected close to about 600 toys. Post-event, we ended with 1,500.
Wow,
Right.
it's huge.
So a lot of major drop-offs that we got from PetSmart dropped off a ton of toys. Home Depot donated some of the decorations for the ambulance. Stevenson High School dropped off a ton of toys. So it took 2 firemen and 2 Marines about an hour just to unload that ambulance at Selfridge.
Nice.
That's nice.
What was that?
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, because even me and another firefighter went as the fire union to go to Sam's Club to pick up some toys so that the union would put in as well. And guy ended up paying for our entire bill worth of multiple carts. Just random guy, didn't want to be named. He's just like, pay it forward. You guys are doing it for the right reason.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
So then we had to go out to another store and buy some more. Like, okay, just trying to spend this money.
You should have followed that guy to see where he went next.
It's like Brewster's Millions. You ever see that movie?
Yes.
So, very, very good event. I'm very happy that it went well.
Excellent.
Good job.
Anyone else on council?
I just wanted to thank all the residents of River Vista, Davis, and Chrisman who came out for the traffic study meeting that we had back in November, was that one? December 2nd.
Yeah.
And what I really liked is that everyone had a chance to say what they had to say, and they were listened to. And I just think that's important to build community. So thank everybody from our street. I saw a lot of neighbors and people I haven't seen in a long time. It was kind of fun.
Mr. Mayor, I had my meeting with so we're all on committees now, right? I had my quarterly meeting with the admin staff here. I had that at approximately 5 p.m., so I've had 3 hours. Haven't really digested everything yet, but yeah, I mean, it was a great conversation. We talked about a lot. I think I'm going to whip up some solutions to some identified problems. Present it probably first to you, Mr. Mayor, then maybe we'll bring it to the full council, but I thought it was a fantastic meeting.
Great.
And I skipped planning because I was feeling a smidge under the weather and in an abundance of caution, I decided to stay home. So I think you were there.
I was.
But, yeah, but I was not, so.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So I'd like to congratulate you on a fantastic turnout and running and organizing the
Yes.
Christmas tree lighting. As you know, years back, it was not nearly as fun. And I appreciate you continuing the tradition, and I hope that council will support this tradition. I think that looking at the turnout from the last handful of years that we've had, in comparison to years prior, I think there's thousands of people there. I don't know how many, but there's a lot. And so that puts Utica on the map. People like coming here. I believe it gives people a place to come visit. They may find this place interesting to live, and that increases property values. Things like that. We can continue doing fun things like that. It makes Utica a great place to live, visit, and work, and I appreciate that you did such a successful event. So thank you.
Well, I do need to clarify a bit. When you said it was better than in years past, or however you worded
We're
it,
talking circa 1915.
because when you started it in 2017, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was Christmas of 2017. That's really where the change took place.
Yeah, and I just appreciate council and you continuing it. It makes it's a fun, it's nice to have one big, nice, fun event that costs
Yeah.
nothing to the residents, and everyone can come together on and kind of showcase what we have and Utica to offer people and make it, it's our turn to shine for an occasion.
Yeah, and that's an important point. We were able to get sponsorship to a level that it didn't cost the taxpayers a penny. Everything was paid for, including the pretty awesome fireworks. You know, it was a large-scale fireworks show. Everything was paid for with sponsorship, so we thank all our sponsors, too.
So, congratulations again.
Thank you.
On a city note, I personally would like to thank all of city council, the mayor. I would like to thank all our department heads, assistant department heads, our employees. This year, we have made some tremendous strides and changes in the city.
Positive changes.
Tons of stuff. It took a lot of effort, total team effort. And like I say, I'll just say rank and file up to us sitting here having to make the last thing. It has been a true pleasure to be on this council and to work with everybody this last year. I've been up here a very, very long time, and I think this is one of the most productive, and I'm gonna say at the same time, fun years I've ever had in the last 32 years. So, thank you.
Thanks for
Amen to
everything,
that.
all your contributions to Mayor Pro Tem. Do we have it? Councilwoman
Are you ready
Townsend?
for me?
I'm ready.
Here we go. All right.
Okay, well, I thought I would have more time to do things with graffiti because it was getting colder, but evidently that has not slowed down. So we did have an incident the other night where a woman went down to take pictures with her 16-year-old daughter, and there were some kids painting in the tunnel, and she confronted them. And I'm very happy that that situation did not go bad, because it could have went bad. But I spoke with the resident that was down there last night, and she said that, you know, the kids were polite and, you know, not disrespectful. So that was good. But they are under the impression that it's totally okay to come down there all the time and paint whatever you want, however you want. And I guess I need to know from city council and from the police chief too, whether we want to go ahead and use some of our current ordinances to stop this from happening. If we don't want to go ahead and do that, then that's okay too, and we know that we'll just have to do a maintenance thing, you know, if we want, when things get bad, or if we want to actually make a step and use a current ordinance to try and squelch this from happening. Yeah, like malicious destruction, is that the legal wording, Ms. McGraw?
Yes, malicious destruction of property. And I think you had circulated an ordinance
Yeah.
right before the meeting. It was inquired of me whether or not that's city property or not. I had given you the language for city property. There's
Okay.
similar ordinances for non-city property, though.
Okay, okay. So even though it's the tunnel and technically not city property, is that the clarification?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I guess I just need to know whether, you know, we want to go ahead and, like, if I'll have the support from everyone to, you know, keep doing what I've been doing, or whether, you know, whether we don't want to do that and just do it more of a maintenance level. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
My sugar's a little low right now, so I don't know if I'm making sense right now or not.
I heard the beep. I'm worried about you.
Yeah, yeah, my alarms are going off.
I know what to do over here. I got juice and.
We got it all here.
Gotcha.
So I
glucose.
apologize for that. But yeah, so, I mean, I guess that's what I need to know, because then we have to take the next step. How do we communicate that to the public? That it's not okay to do that anymore? You know, do we want to start by putting up a sign and then just kind of getting word of mouth out to some of these kids? You know, do we do an article? What, you know, I guess we need to know which direction we want to go in.
I would say a combination of both. Make it, so it's punishable by ordinance, and then also make it so that it's a maintenance thing. Because no matter what we do, there's going to be those that will
Right.
disregard the ordinance. So a combination of both, where we get together, like you had in the past and I had in the past, where we paint the tunnel every so often, just because it's, you know, good housekeeping. And then, but also making it so that it's posted and adopted, and so that it's punishable. I think a combination might work.
So are we writing a new ordinance for that, or do we have an existing
I
ordinance
think
that?
state law we can adopt state
We,
law.
we have existing ordinances and state law would apply.
Okay.
Chief Cody, would you like to?
Yeah,
add
I'd
on?
like to chime in just a little bit. This has obviously been a discussion that we've dealt with throughout the summer. We're trying to find a happy medium. We didn't know if there was other issues that people wanted to change or try to do something different with an ordinance. If we're comfortable where we're at, the idea of signage to at least start posting some things out there, both ends of the tunnel, at least have something indicating that we're gonna take enforcement action against people that are going to be using any type of paint in that area. So I think first and foremost, that's where we need to start. If we're gonna begin enforcement, make sure we have some signage, notify the local news, make sure that they put something out there. C&G is usually really good about those types of things. So we put something like that on Facebook as well. Just make sure the public has been properly notified, and we can start taking some type of enforcement action in there.
Okay. That's good with me.
And I'd just like to say, you've been doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
You know,
Oh,
we
thanks.
don't want to slow you down on what you're doing, because, you know, the event we had in this summer, I guess, was it summer, spring?
Fall, September.
Yeah, September, with, you know, whitewashing the tunnel, and then we
Yeah.
had, you know, Eisenhower students, and I think some Utica High School students out.
Yeah.
Very positive, you know.
Such a sense of community.
Yeah.
And so for the one that I would like to have in the spring, I did speak with Lori Schmidt from the garden, and we're gonna coordinate an effort together. It'll be, so when we do that northern tunnel, it'll actually be all the way from the dog park to the tunnel, you know, like, we'll have activities or whatever, you know, there'll be action, community action happening from the dog park all the way to that tunnel. So we're gonna coordinate it on the same day, and I think that, you know, I've had such a great response from young people that, you know, heck, we can bring our barbecue and barbecue hot dogs or whatever that day, you know, just really make it a good sense of community, because we were small but mighty the first time.
Right.
This time, hopefully, we'll be bigger and better.
Can I add to Ms. Townsend? The thing that's super unfortunate is we have some people that are really talented artists and have gone in that tunnel and they've worked their butts off and they've done some amazing things. And then some individual, for lack of much better term, comes into there and they start spray painting phallic symbols or swear words, whatnot. And that is it only takes one or two people to really ruin a whole community effort. And it'd be great to be able to put a stop to it and encourage, you know, a program, so like there's an art day or whatever the case is. So this would, you know, kind of be stopped. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be able to stop that. History will prove that these kids are sneakier, and they come in numbers and they don't really tell you when they're gonna do it, right? So it'd be great if they did. But unfortunately, I think a combination between enforcement, public awareness, and maintenance would be a really good program.
Right. And it's real easy to get discouraged, you know, after
Yeah.
all the work and all the positive energy that we felt, you know, when we had the Paint the Tunnel event. You go in there a couple days, you know, the first few days, it's all good. And that, you know, for a while there, I was going in every day to see what was happening, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Because it was
Yeah.
so discouraging to start your day saying, oh, somebody, you know, they added this, they added that. And it wasn't the positive messaging that we had from the event. So
Yeah.
I just think we have to be, you know, diligent, try not to get discouraged, and like Councilman Dion said, a combination, you know, of, we're gonna have to put in our budget that we need to rent a spray paint gun and, you know, 15 gallons of spray paint or paint every year. It's gonna have to be part of, you know, how we address this.
Can I suggest something silly?
Yeah.
When I worked at the pet store in 2006, the minimum wage was $5.15, guys. I know, right? We at the pet store, which shall remain nameless, there's loss prevention or something. The owner put up fake cameras. They just had a blinking red light, and they were fake. They didn't record anything.
They will paint those.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Guaranteed.
They already painted the light.
They will paint the signs we're talking about too.
Cameras
We
don't
know.
Yeah, oh, I
stop
know
crime.
they'll
They
paint
aid,
signs.
Yeah.
sometimes they aid in.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there would be some legal issues with putting up, I think we had these discussions a few years ago.
There's
You know, if somebody,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, was injured, unrelated to graffiti,
Oh.
and they said, oh, I see that camera up there, and they FOIA, Freedom of Information Act us
Well, give
for
them
the
the tape.
footage.
Give them the tape, you know, the whole thing.
I'm
You
still
go.
working on the camera issue, though.
Yeah,
Don't
we're
think
still-
I forgot about that.
Yeah, real cameras, not
Real
fake ones.
cameras.
We're still trying to figure that all out.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any, Councilman Ryan?
Well, the one thing that I have suggested in the past that might help as a deterrent as well as doing with the signs and maintenance, is can we get more lighting added to that tunnel? Because even with the light lenses cleaned, it's still very dark in there.
That's fair, that's fair.
So if you increase the lighting, that in itself is gonna help as a deterrent.
Yeah. And they paint over the covers of the lighting, so it's almost like a maintenance thing. I know DPW goes in there every so often, they replace those plastic lenses that they have on there, PVC lenses.
It was really dark in there last night. I went in there to check it out, and I was actually shocked, because they must have painted over some of the plastic again or something, because I don't remember it being that dark just a couple weeks ago when I went through there.
I actually had on the tree lighting night, in the tunnel, some people accosted me, we were chit-chatting. And I said, yeah, it really is really dark in this tunnel right now. There are tons of people walking through. And the woman I was talking to is, yeah, like as a single woman, if I were on a walk, even in the evening where it's like twilight and stuff, it's like I would never come in this tunnel. This is
Yeah.
scary. And, you know, I'm not a woman, so I don't usually think from that perspective. I just go wherever I'm.
Even during the day, you feel that way. You know, if you're walking at river bends and you go through that tunnel and you hit
Yeah.
all that graffiti and all that negativity,
It's
for
spooky.
lack of a better
Yeah.
word, it puts you on your guard
Yeah,
as a woman walking by yourself, yes.
yeah. So to your point, Councilman Ryan, I think lighting would be beneficial.
We can work on that. It sounds like we're all in favor of signs. Do we need to take a vote on that, or, let's take a vote on it. Looking for a motion to approve posting signs on either end of the Davis Street tunnel.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Sikora, support by O'Donnell, or was it Ryan?
No, it's either,
Faith got beat me to it.
By Terenzi. Any further discussion?
I walk.
Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi? Yes. O'Donnell?
yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. All right, I think that's it for council reports. Amanda, do you have anything for us from planning? Maybe an update on the last planning meeting, or?
Yeah, so the last planning commission meeting, it was a small group. Ended up being more of just an informal discussion. We didn't have a quorum, but we did discuss, a parking lot, I guess I would call maintenance ordinance, because I know there's been some issues with parking lots throughout the city not being maintained, whether it's cracking, weeds growing up through them, et cetera. And currently in the zoning ordinance, there's just landscaping standards and like traffic flow standards and things like that. Not a lot of like legal language that's enforceable for customer or business owners to maintain their parking lot. So, Dominic, put together some language for it and we reviewed it. And we thought it looked pretty good. We had some questions about like where it would fit in the ordinance, and I discussed it with some of my staff. Because we had gone back and forth between whether it needs to go in the general code of ordinances or under zoning, and I think it actually fits more where the blight is and under the general code of ordinances, because it's kind of gonna be post-site plan review, it's more like maintenance and enforcement. So in my mind, I think it could be, going under blight, which is its own section of the ordinance, or creating a whole new section as well. But generally, I thought it read well, it had a lot of standards. I don't know a lot about parking lots, like how they're created and maintained, but Dominic did a great job with it, so I think it's good. So the next steps with that would be, a public hearing at city council, and, which has to be published for 15 days in the local newspaper, and then you could pass the ordinance.
If it's
So-
not a zoning ordinance, do you need a public hearing in the notice? I mean, if it's just blight,
I think any change in an ordinance would have to do a public hearing, I thought. Like, when you did the marijuana ordinance, didn't you have to do a public hearing for it? You
no, we
didn't.
only had to do them on zoning.
Oh, and then I guess maybe you don't, cause it wouldn't be under the zoning ordinance, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I've never done, obviously, I just typically work with zoning,
Right.
so if it's, then you could just basically bring it to council and pass it there, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you have to post anything in the paper after you pass it. I
It
know.
has to be published,
Yeah,
and we usually make it effective upon publication.
okay. So, yeah, so that could kind of be your next steps with that, but I thought it, would be a good addition and help you guys enforce some of the blight issues in the parking lots. And then the other thing we discussed was the food truck ordinance. I think we still have a little bit of work to do on that. I don't know if anyone on council has seen it or
No.
anything. So just kind of went back and forth. I know you guys have had food trucks coming into the community or desire to have them, but we definitely wanna still protect our local businesses and the local restaurants and stuff. So we kind of discussed, sort of limiting them to 4 times a year, not to exceed 1 a month, if that makes sense, based on like parcel. So a property owner or a business could apply for a food truck at their site 4 times a year, but they couldn't do it 4 times in 1 month. It could only be once a month, not to exceed 4 times per year. So a business in the downtown could have one, but you know, we're looking at allowing them to come in, but not to inundate the downtown and take business away from the local restaurant owners. We talked about like limiting the number of food trucks that could come in, but logistically that sounded a little difficult. And again, I'm no expert on food trucks. It's not really anything that goes under planning either. We decided that needs to go just under the general code of ordinances as well, because it's more of just a temporary use. I looked into various communities. Richmond has just decided to not allow them entirely. St. Clair Shores doesn't regulate them at all. It kind of goes both ways. Either they just don't allow them or they just don't regulate them. Ferndale has a whole huge ordinance, so it's really something that like I think you as a community needs to decide what's the best fit for you. I know the mayor and I talked, and we talked about maybe having like a workshop or something to go through it before we look to take it to a vote. I think it still needs a little bit of work, but I thought we had a good discussion about it, so.
Yeah, that was a very productive planning meeting. Very. So the next step on the food truck then is perhaps a council workshop,
I would say so.
work session?
You could invite planning. Again, I don't think it goes under the zoning ordinance, so it doesn't need to be approved formally by planning. It's really more up to you guys and what you would want to pass. I just try to remind everyone, like logistically, you know, you have to have fire department, you guys want the fire department to go out there and check them. You don't wanna like overcomplicate it and make a ton of work for your city staff trying to keep track of who's getting the permits, how many are coming out and things like that. So in my experience, like simpler is better, not
Right.
trying to make it like overly complex. So unfortunately, it's just really what works best for your community. Like I said, I've read Ferndale's, Detroit's, Royal Oak. St. Clair doesn't have one. Not many Macomb County communities actually have a formal food truck ordinance, and like, I don't think you guys are comparable to really any of those communities, so it's kind of just thinking about what works best for you, so.
It's true, we are better than.
So much better. It's just hard, you know, I mean,
To be so good, yeah, it's true.
I know. So that's kind of where that was. I know Mayor and I talked, and it's something I think we wanna try to get done before, like the spring, when you're gonna look at those food trucks, when the desire for food trucks comes back. I think you'll probably be safe for January, February, March, you know, cause a lot of it's nicer weather, so. Yeah, I'm happy to help in any way I can with that, and then, Brad, again, if you want to have a meeting, in the new year to discuss some stuff, sorry I couldn't make it. It's just hard for me to be away from my children for 8 hours and
That's
leave
just
my
fine.
husband alone with
Yeah.
them.
I have yet to find anyone dumb enough to make me some, so.
Enjoy the peace and quiet, that's all I'll tell you. Yeah, so, on that note, that's all I have.
Thank you, Amanda, appreciate it. So we'll work on trying to get maybe a work session scheduled,
Yeah,
probably
This
for
is
the
technically on the
January
record.
council session.
yeah, I think that would be best, just I'm sure people have a lot of opinions on them, and it's better to just kind of get it all out in the open
Right.
before you work on spending a lot of time writing something and then having to change it all in the 11th hour, so,
Excellent. Well, thank you.
no problem.
Library, Ms. Francis.
Hello, good evening, Mayor, Council. I wanted to first mention the Christmas tree lighting and how we were so lucky to piggyback off of that function because we had our bake sale that coincided. And so with all those people in the city and in our building, we had probably the most successful bake sale, and a lot more donations came in for bakers than we were prepared for, but we took it on and we had a really successful bake sale. So that was really fun and great. Also, in your packet, you have a letter from me written on behalf of Barb Montag. She is requesting to be reappointed to the library board for another term. Her term expires at the end of the year. She's been on the board for several years and is currently our president. And she is actually a very big asset with her many years on council, library board, and her former job at Cranbrook, which is kind of helping us now head in the direction of renovations. So we are really excited to hopefully have her be approved for another term. So we're just looking for a motion from council.
I'll make a motion if I be reappointed to
Okay.
library
I support
board.
that.
Motion by Terenzi, support by Townsend. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote?
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. I
have one
will read
comment.
her certificate.
Okay, do that. I'd like to make one comment to Katie, that Katie did a wonderful job setting up, and I don't know if everyone went in the basement or not, but I went down there Friday to drop off my baked goods, and it looked like a house. You know, it looked so homey, and it was so fun. I was sorry that I couldn't be there. So good job. My hat is off to you.
Mr. Renzi, I'm also accepting baked goods at my home.
This weekend.
I do have to say, the fire department did appreciate all the leftovers.
Well, at this time, I'm going to read
Got some, too.
Ms. Montag's certificate of appointment. You are hereby notified that you have been duly appointed by the council for the city of Utica at a regular meeting on Tuesday, December 14, 2021, to serve as a member of the library board for the city of Utica. Term expires 2026. Congratulations, Barb Montag. Anything else to report, Ms. Francis? Thank you. Fire chief.
I'd just like to, I see you passed my stuff in consent meeting, so thank you for that. And then just thank everybody that helped out with the Christmas function that we had in town, the tree lighting. All the guys came out. We had quite a spectacular fireworks show. We got to be part of it. You know, some of those were low flying last night. So, but I wish everybody a Merry Christmas. My grandson told me it's 11 days till Christmas, so if you haven't done your shopping. And then please be careful because COVID cases are coming back. We're starting to run again a lot on trouble breathing again. So my hat's off to the guys that keep coming in for it and could possibly take that home to their families. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, chief. Police chief.
Mayor and council, good evening. In your package, you have a traffic control order. As you're probably well aware, we had the town hall meeting. We discussed a number of things. The mayor and I, as well as some of the business owners in the area, were in the neighborhoods trying to make a determination as to what would be in the best interest of our residents, try to make a safer environment for them, their kids, and their properties. And we put temporary signs in place on River Vista between Davis and Van Dyke for a period of time to prevent people from parking on the street. As you're familiar with that roadway, it's relatively narrow. If there is a car on the roadway in a stationary position, cars that are coming at each other, one will have to go into the opposing lane of traffic in order just to clear that roadway. So with the temporary signs, to help kind of control some of the business traffic, I think that mitigated some of the issues in front of some of the residential properties. It was from that point that talking to the mayor and kind of doing a study and having our officers kind of manage the area visually and see what type of issues we had that help resolve some of our violations. So it's at this time that we would request a traffic control order to move forward with putting in some permanent signs. The signs that we've indicated in the packet have arrows on them to kind of indicate from one point to another. The idea behind that is to move those signs in accordance with the residential properties, to control those areas, to ensure that our residents' properties don't have stationary vehicles in front of them, and that it can kind of make it safer for their kids to kind of move about and pedestrians to move during school time, and they're not moving between vehicles and can travel safely in the area. So we're asking that we move forward with this traffic control order. It will require a motion upon its approval. We will make efforts to put those signs in. I'll work with the DPW to make sure that they are in keeping keeping with what's best for the residents. And as indicated in here, we're looking for the residential properties there to be protected from parking on the street. The commercial properties are within 150 feet of that intersection at Van Dyke and River Vista, so there's no parking on the street in that area as it stands. So this should alleviate any type of obstructions in the roadway by vehicles.
Chief would be looking for a motion to approve traffic or control order 21-02 as he just presented.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
Rescind it, Fate's gonna make it, you'll get a second.
My street, I get to make the
Yes.
motion.
Oh, is that how we're doing things?
Yes.
Okay, but let's talk about Cass Avenue real quick. Speed limit's 4 miles per
Just
hour.
talk too much.
Only in front of your house.
I support that motion.
Motion by Dion, support by Terenzi.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to withdraw my motion and let it be Mrs. Terenzi's motion.
I will make the
I will
motion
support.
to put the no parking signs on River Vista between Davis and Van Dyke.
Madam Clerk, a correction. Motion by Terenzi, support by?
Dion?
Dion. Any further discussion from council?
No, I just have one thing I would like to say, Chief Cody and Sergeant Kaluzny, thank you for putting the slow down sign on Utica Road again. It makes me very happy because we know how crazy the people drive on Utica Road.
Yep.
Myself included, so it keeps me on the straight and narrow every time. So thank you, I'm glad it's there
We're
this
trying to
week.
meet all the requests directly after that sign. Obviously, they're going to see some patrol enforcement, so anybody traversing the area, that's your warning, is that sign, so take heed.
And if you want me to email you the exact times, I can tell you. I know all of them.
Actually, the sign is very detailed as to the information that we can glean from it, so, yes.
It just doesn't have the license plates, right?
Not yet.
Any further discussion? Madam
So
Clerk, a
thank
roll
you.
call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Your next item, Chief?
Mayor and Council, thank you for that. Our next item
Oh,
is.
actually, you did have two motions in your request. The second motion was to direct DPW supervisor to purchase and install the no parking signs on River Vista between Davis and Van Dyke within the residential frontage. We would be looking for a motion.
Make
So
the motion.
moved. Oh,
Support.
Mike?
Motion by Terenzi, support by Ryan. Any discussion?
put your hands there.
Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Now your second item, Chief.
Okay. Second item that we're submitting today is an agenda item summary that involves the budget as it pertains to our radio project. As you're all well aware, we had a radio project that resulted out of a lightning strike some time ago. That project is still continuing. We are in the third phase of its installation, and what we're doing now is we're asking for insurance recoveries to be available to be put into the equipment purchase. This past year, when we were doing budgets, we didn't have the anticipated revenue from the insurance recoveries due to the final calculations numbers were unknown at the time, so they were not placed into the budget. We still have continued payments coming from the insurance company, and it's anticipated that the remaining balance of the insurance recoveries will be at $81,787. So this, again, is the third out of the fourth phase to complete this radio project. So we're asking that we make budget amendments so that we can include these insurance recoveries both as a revenue and also an expenditure, and we can complete the project and pay it as we are doing the installments for the completion.
I'll make a motion to do all that.
Support.
Motion by Sikora, support by Ryan. I do have a question, Chief. So after the insurance revenue, there's a deficit there of, $4,000 or something. Are those funds available in the equipment purchase account right now?
They should be. I'd have to take another look at it. There was going to be, between some of the monies that were dedicated to this project, there should have been a little bit of a surplus as to how all this is going to finalize. So we're going to have to take a look at the final numbers when we're done. But yes, there is probably about a $3,000 to $4,000 deficit. We should be able to come up with those monies. I don't anticipate a problem with that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. And your final item, Chief.
Final item, council, I apologize for the timeliness of this last one. As we all well know that Brian Orlowski, an officer with the police department, also works with the fire department as a captain, is very active when it comes to opportunities for grants. This past year, it was in March where he approached me where he found a grant for opportunity for upgraded generators for municipalities. He asked me, he said, should I make the effort to put this grant together and see what comes of it? It appears as though we're eligible for this grant. I said, sure, put the time in, see what we can come up with. Kind of like fishing, put a bobber in the water and see what happens. Well, that was last March. We got an email just this past week from the state. The state is managing a budget that is through the federal government. And of course, they want to know by the end of the year, a notice of intent as to whether or not we'd like to proceed, that we are eligible for these grants. The items that we put in for, we had to submit a bid for the project. That project included a new generator for the PD, which encompasses municipal offices as well in the building. That we've had continued maintenance on. If anybody's not familiar with our generator, it's in a generator room. It's sheltered from the weather. The components on that were built in 1969. I believe it was installed in 1970. So we have been maintaining it ever since. So knock on wood, we've had good long run of life out of that particular item. The bid also included an upgrade of the fire department's generator system as well. So that's what we submitted to the state before they notified us that we were in line to take advantage of this grant. So those bids took place in March. As everybody is aware, got a little bit of an inflation issue that's taken place. So we're redoing the bids to make sure that we're consistent in where we're at. We were told to expect approximately a 15% increase in bids and equipment across the board. This grant is for a max of $150,000. What it is asking is for the city to give a notice of intent to give a 25% match on the project. So right now, we're looking at our total outlay or request is probably going to be below the max. And if our treasurer is available, I don't know if he's here this evening. I spoke with him as the best ways to approach this with council, kind of make a determination. Here we are, Treasurer Paternoster. I was just getting to the financial portion of this and how we're determining what the city's obligations are going to be. So if you could kind of explain that to them, to how we arrived where we're at.
Okay, if I understand this correctly, the total outlay is $200,000, with the federal program providing $150,000, so the city's match would be up to $50,000 there. Since we're talking two different generators, one for the police and one for the fire, it would make sense that we record those two generators in departments in which they're installed. So we would be recording revenues of other federal grants. We would create a sub-account in the other federal grants, 101-301-528-000 and 101-336-528-000, to track this federal program. And the $50,000 match, up to $50,000, depending on how these bids come in, would be taken from the assigned fund balance for capital improvement. And then the actual outlay would be divided between the fire and police, 101-301-981-000, which is the equipment line item, and 101-336-981-000, with the same sub-account as the revenue, so it would track the federal project. We have $134,000 available in the assigned fund balance for capital improvements. That's after the contracts for the Cass Avenue Auburn Road reconstruction project and the Grant Park walking path that were previously approved, and the Grant Park path was finalized. The Cass Avenue project still has some outstanding engineering expenses.
Mayor and council, just so you're aware, some of the bids have come in under that, so we're just trying to make sure that we have all things covered. Some of the things we want to take into consideration, we have already completed a new 911 system, as you're well aware. We got some of that under our grants, as well as our lightning strike insurance claims. We are upgrading our new radio system, all important items. This is the item that powers those systems and protects those systems from the system that, the lightning strike that we just had. So a lot of this kind of is in keeping both with modernizing what we currently have, keeps city offices going, maintains their computers in the event of a power outage. The room that we're sitting right now, if we have some type of emergency management situation, we have the ability to have lighting, to have some of the electricity, to help make sure we can forward any type of supportive resources from the fire side of it, the police side of it, city offices, to allow for city managers such as yourself to be able to make decisions and have a safe haven in the event of a catastrophic event. So to modernize this, obviously takes some great strides and completes what we're looking for in trying to stabilize our communication systems as well as our facilities. And when I say facilities, we're talking about heating, cooling, electrical, that type of thing. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's an opportunity to get it at a fraction of the total cost. So I would ask for a motion to approve the funding as the treasurer has indicated, so that we can give them a notice of intent to continue our eligibility in this grant.
I'll make that motion to approve that.
Motion by Ryan, support by Terenzi. Real quick discussion, you'll probably notice that the estimates we received, or the quotes, date back to March 18th of this year. So we would expect that the quotes are gonna rise. What did we,
They were out today to do the estimates for the.
to redo them?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so we don't know, the numbers are probably a little bit lower than what the real numbers will end up being. But as Mr. Paternoster indicated, we do have money that was designated, boy, when was that? 2019, 2000?
No, actually, it was, I don't have my list. It was
For the DDA.
about August or September of last year.
Okay, so that money all along has been earmarked for capital improvements, and, my personal opinion is this definitely fits, within that. Any further discussion from council?
Anytime you can get that much free money, you try to take advantage of it, plain and simple, because we can't do it on our own. So,
Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries.
So, Mr. Mayor, may I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Brian Orlowski, between the fire and police department, how many dollars in grants has he totaled?
Oh,
I was just going to make mention to that.
This guy is
Um,
unstoppable.
I don't know the exact amount, but as you can tell, he definitely is very diligent. And you got to remember, when he does this and he opens up this can of worms, it is a lot of work, because it's very time consuming. They ask a lot of questions about the situation. You have to present it, and you have to literally write out a paper on the need and why your city should be under consideration for these things. He's in communications with the people with the grants, becomes annoying at the state level so that we can get our recognition and to make sure we stay in the running for these. I can't say enough good things about Brian Orlowski. As you indicated, he has put forth a lot of effort for this city and brought forth a lot of really good improvements that would otherwise not be possible. So, a lot of accolades to Brian Orlowski for the efforts that he puts in.
Yeah, and Officer Orlowski doesn't get paid extra for doing this.
That's absolutely true.
There's no
He does
grant
this-
writer
he
salary.
does this while he is at work and conducting his other daily duties,
Grant writer
so,
salary.
yes.
So, I mean, we are very lucky to have Officer Orlowski working on these grants for us. So
Yes.
please forward our thanks as
Yep.
council to him.
Yep.
Yeah, I've known him since before kindergarten, and he is, who knew?
We're currently,
Moving on.
we're currently, right now, I forgot to mention, we're going for a new FEMA grant, this is the firefighters grant for a new pumper and to upgrade our portable radios. He's working on that right now too, so he puts in a lot of time.
Yeah, he needs to be recognized.
He's an invaluable resource to the city and has made some major improvements, so you're absolutely right.
Mr. Lang, DPW report?
Mayor, do you want to, I don't know, at the last meeting, was the Cass Avenue project done? Do you want to update council where we're at on that?
No.
Or
I
can't-
think we-
Thanksgiving. It finished up around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It wasn't done yet.
It wasn't done.
Oh, it wasn't done. Sure, go ahead and.
Well, okay, well, I don't want to, if you want to add to it, that's fine. Anyway, Mayor and Council, right now, from Cass Avenue project is open and being utilized. If you notice some areas there, we're not going to close out the project just yet. There's some landscaping that still needs to be installed, but that plant stock wasn't available. And I talked to the mayor and Mr. Paternoster about holding back some of the funding for that project. Just noticing some other things that might need some attention in the spring. Seems a little precarious for some of the drivers to keep their tires on the actual pavement. They seem to like the signage that was put there, as well as the back of the curb. So I want to look at possibly armoring that in the spring with concrete, similar to what you see on some of these turnarounds. That looks like that might be necessary. As well as, the landscaping and that, but ended up being a pretty nice project. And the support for the additional parking lot is good too, because that turned out real nice. As the chief had mentioned, COVID's alive and well. I've actually had some issues with some people out sick. We were down about 30% of our crew for quite a while due to illnesses. That was part of what made things so difficult for us to pull things off, as well as the rest of what, water main breaks that we don't anticipate. So, I thank you for your support, putting up with, you see things that need to be done. We're well aware of it. We're scrambling to try to get it done. With that being said, snow season is coming soon, whether we want to believe it or not. I just ask that, everyone, while you're talking to your neighbors and that, if you can help us out with informing them that, hey, when it does snow, if you could pull your car off the street, and please do not, even though we do not make efforts to push the snow in your driveway, please don't push it back out in the street when we're done. So, that's about it, but keep trudging forward.
Thank you, Mr. Lang.
Just like to thank your department. It seems, for all you do, but it seems like you have had a record number of water main breaks lately. And it's trying, it's exhausting, so thank you, and please, the kudos to your department.
Yeah, and it's, every one of those came on a day that was, not that they're ever convenient, but if the operator wasn't out at school, the primary underground guy was sick, or vice versa, either way, it was just, the whole project all of those presented great challenges. I apologize to the library for the time that it took to get them back up. It just is some of that stuff that happened. Sometimes one problem turned into another problem. We had a real nice water fountain on Auburn Road for a while. Everyone that had my phone number called me to inform me that, hey, just so you know. Anyway, so that's where we're at.
Thank you.
But we appreciate the support. We do our best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. I don't think we have a report from the treasurer. Madam Clerk, administration, any news? No? Parks and Rec?
Mayor and Council, Lynn Carnes was not able to make it tonight under her section for Parks and Recreation. She was going to be asking council for permission to host a Utica Palooza 5K walk on June 18th, 2022 at Grant Park. It would be similar to the Walk of Love that she just hosted recently in October. Thank you. So she's basically asking for permission. It is a women's life event, but a portion of the proceeds would be donated to the Parks and Rec Department. So she would like to have permission from council to start planning that event beforehand. Do you want me to go, did you read her email?
I'm just trying to see if there's anything that we should, part of her, what she's requesting is to put up 9 signs at both entrances at Grant Park.
I was gonna say,
4 signs at the Hall and Van Dyke intersections. Yeah, I received this email late before the meeting because I don't think she was able to come tonight. And like Madam Clerk mentioned, it's not an official Parks and Rec event, it's a Women's Health 911 event, but part of the proceeds will be benefiting Parks and Rec. So it appears she's just asking for permission so she can begin her planning and whatnot, because the event's not until June 18th. So I'd be looking for a motion to grant Women's Life 911, Lynn Carnes, permission to hold this event on June 18th, 2022.
So moved.
Motion by Dion.
Support.
Support by Sikora. Any discussion from council?
I think the details of how many signs and all that has to be worked out.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's-
Yes.
But, I mean,
We
the-
don't have enough information.
yeah, I mean, if the motion to approve 5K walk, sure, I'll vote yes, but the details are,
We need the details.
Yep.
I think this was exploratory,
yeah.
her request.
And I'll vote yes, because I know Lynn Carnes is fantastic about this kind of stuff, but, just wanna make sure I'm clear on what I'm voting for.
Sure. So are we clear for our minutes? Are we gonna know exactly what we?
You have a motion to approve the use of Grant Park on June 18th, 2022 for the Utica Palooza 5K with discussion at a later date about the signs and more details.
Perfect.
Signs, meeting with the police
Exactly what it
department,
sounds like.
Pending
coordinating.
final details.
There we go,
Put it in our-
pending.
Pending final,
findings.
I like.
In the
Thank you.
calendar.
Pending final details. Nicely worded.
Good job.
All right. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Ms. McGrail.
All right, Mayor and Council, we had discussion in closed session regarding our labor negotiations. I have presented to council a tentative agreement with AFSCME. If Mayor and Council is so inclined to agree to that tentative agreement, I would be looking for a motion to approve the tentative agreement as presented with the extended option of the stipend to the one full-time clerk and to authorize the drafting and execution of the contract as provided in the tentative agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Sikora, support by Torenzi. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Anything else?
Nothing further.
Thank you for all your hard work,
Thank you.
Linda. This has been the year of contracts. They're important. they're difficult, and we're all happy when they're done. So we're getting
Me
close.
especially.
At this point in the meeting, we open up the floor for communication from the public for any item that was not on the agenda. Is there anyone from the public that would like to present something to council? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Sikora, support by Dion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. The meeting is adjourned.